Welcome back, guys, to the Futbal Biz podcast. As always, I'm Grayson Mortimer. He is Hunter Boyven, and we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to predict the World Cup final, talk about the semifinals, and go from there. But before we get to that, Hunter, there's some big news in the football world today. If you want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, I'll introduce the concept. So basically, earlier today, FIFA President Gianni Infantino introduced an idea for a new 32-team men's club World Cup to be implemented, I believe, in 2025, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So basically, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this, we're just injuring more players unnecessarily by adding more competitions, more stipulations to existing competitions, as well as the point that he added that they confirmed that it's going to be a 48 team World Cup for 2026,
Yeah.
having group stages of 16 groups with 3 teams in it instead of what we were used to
With the
this
four teams, yeah.
for and all the previous ones. So again, it's just kind of overkill. I'll let you add your opinion to that.
Yeah, I'll start with the Club World Cup. That was obviously the bigger announcement of the two. And yeah, I'm with you there. I think that it is overkill. I would say the biggest reason for that coming to be was definitely the Super League thing. I think this is FIFA's way of trying to uh move that into kind of the past and give that idea like just a shove down a shove down the drain. And I really think that yeah, it is definitely overkill. It'll be entertaining for viewers, of course. There's definitely that aspect to it, but it can't be understated that yeah, these guys already go through enough, like especially this year where we had like a Winter World Cup. And then just the fact that yeah, like these guys already play, the league, which is a grueling season, especially if you're, one of the big five leagues. And then obviously, they each league also has their own respective cup competitions and the Europe, for the bigger clubs, European competitions as well. So it's really tough, and I hate to see it, but I do think it'll expand the Club World Cup as a competition and make it a little more relevant. I do think that is a positive upside to it, but I would still say the negatives outweigh the positives. As for the 48 team format, um, it is a little overkill, but I do like that they're expanding it to give more teams a chance to, experience the World Cup because there are some nations that traditionally might not make it that do. But then on the flip side of that, like these nations are just going to go and get crushed. Like it's not going to be the biggest positive thing for the international football community. And that being said, though, I do like the 48 team format. I do think that it does have positives and uh, will allow more and more players to experience what playing for their country at a World Cup is like.
Yeah, I guess like for example, we didn't see Mo Salah or Egypt at the World Cup this year, which
Exactly.
most people would want to see him play. But yeah, I think it's risk reward type situation. Um, I'm a little bit indifferent on it right now, but I guess we'll see in 4 years how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll see 4 years, hopefully 4 years live because it
Yes.
is taking
Yep.
place in
We
the
see a
US,
lot.
Canada, and Mexico. And I like the fact that it is split between the three. There's a lot of great venues in all three countries, especially US and Mexico. Canada has a couple of venues that are good, but if there's one country that's lacking, it is my home country of Canada. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that World Cup in 4 years, and I think it'll be great. Now, as for this World Cup, there's a lot that just happened the past week with the two massive semifinal matches, both going the way that I think most people would have expected. Now, I thought there was going to be an upset for one of the two games, but there wasn't. Um, eh, First, I guess we'll start with the Argentina Croatia match, kind of going into that. So I think that Argentina played their best game of the tournament. A couple of questionable refereeing decisions. I think that the penalty was a little soft. and maybe you can go a bit into that. But overall, as a game, you cannot. I mean, Argentina was definitely the better team here.
I agree, and I think this is one thing to note. I did see after the game that Modric did complain about the ref, and I have never seen him say anything like that
Me
really
neither.
ever. So just that alone makes me think that he might be onto something, just because it's not really like him. The
Yep.
penalty call was definitely a little soft. I will agree with that. Um, I would say I wish that wasn't given because that totally demolished the confidence of Croatia after that
Change the game
penalty.
on its head.
Everything changed after that. They didn't have a single shot. They couldn't get a word in edgewise to return in that game. You could definitely see the demeanor change a little bit. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
I think Argentina probably would have pulled through anyway. But I thought it would have been much closer than it was. Definitely, I'm gonna miss Luka Modric in this tournament. I'm assuming that he will not be playing in the World Cup again in 4 years. Of course, we've seen crazier things, but just in case, it was very fun to watch in this tournament.
Yeah, Luka Modric is obviously a very class player. I got to see him live at Real Madrid, which was an absolutely great moment. He when he came in, the game turned in Madrid's favor. Um, yeah, Luka Modric is a guy that went from being named one of the worst players in La Liga, and I think it was the worst transfer in La Liga in 2013, to winning a Ballon d'Or 5 years later, as well as five Champions Leagues. He's one of the most underrated players of his generation. And I'm happy he won the Ballon d'Or because yes, he did put Croatia on his back in that World Cup. I think without that he doesn't win it, but I mean he also did win the Champions League that year, so it can't be understated how good he actually is, and I think he will go down as one of the greatest midfielders of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. Him and Tony Cruz both have formed that Madrid midfield for almost a decade now, and I mean, especially a club like Madrid where guys don't typically last that long, unless they perform to the highest level. I mean, Luka Modric absolutely fits that mold of these 4 or 5 guys that Madrid have had for all these years, alongside the likes of Tony Cruz before he went to Man United, Casemiro, um, and that Marcelo Vieira, of course, and Danny Carvajal and guys like that. So absolute props to Modric on a storied international career. I do believe he'll play the third place match. The only one I've seen that won't play that is Juranovic, the right back for Celtic. And I think more of that is because he was a bit injured for the Argentina game. I think he played about 70 minutes and then got pulled. But he's also a very high prospect for transfers right now. Some of the biggest clubs are being linked with him. I know Barcelona's looked at him. I mean, those guys look at everybody and then look at their wallet and are like, "Oh, what do we do?" But I
They'll
think
figure
I,
it out.
I think Juranovic will be on the cheaper side though because he is coming from Celtic, which it's Scotland. No offense to Scottish football, but
They'll
you
take
can't
whatever
compete.
they
You
can
can't
get.
compete with the Liga. You just can't. You're not like the Dutch league where these guys are like still European giants. But yeah, no, absolute props to Luka Modric. Argentina get all credit though. Lionel Messi had one of the best plays of the whole tournament, making Guardiol, I cannot pronounce that guy's name, Vardy look ridiculous, and the fact that he is only 20, Messi absolutely made a meal of him for that third goal where he just laid it onto Alvarez. One of the goals of the tournament.
Huge props to Alvarez, and I think he's sneaking his way into Golden Boy for this tournament, and it's not impossible for him to win the Golden Boot. Obviously he'll need 2 goals and everyone else to stay stagnant for that to go through. But I mean, he scored 2 goals this game, and he was responsible for that um, penalty. He was the one who drew the penalty. So
It
he's
was.
such a huge player. I'm glad he's getting his recognition. I wonder where he's going to fit in at Man City now, in the coming months.
It's tough. I obviously do like Man City as well. This video has already exposed a bit of my biases towards certain teams, but obviously Holland is still the guy there. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But I think what what they potentially might try to do is kind of what they did in 2012, where they had both Sergio Aguero and Edin Dzeko on the field, and that was one of the deadliest strike duos, arguably ever, because those guys both, were capable of scoring 15 plus goals a season, and I think that Alvarez Holland might have that type of uh, of partnership as well. The one thing I will say is that I do think that Man City fits better as a one striker team. But what they could potentially do is, since City doesn't have the wing depth they used to have, obviously with the loss of Sterling in the summer to Chelsea, I think they might be able to play Alvarez on one of the wings because he can still move forward, still create a lot of opportunity. And while I think he'll have some competition for that role, it is a possibility. But also, I think he will get some important minutes also because of Holland's injury history. So I think that they'll definitely have a conundrum in Man City, and Alvarez they signed as a future replacement for a guy like Aguero, but um, I think he's proving that he definitely can be that guy for a team like City, even if Holland is still there.
He's clearly trusted by someone like Messi, and that's huge praise in and of itself. Uh, that one goal he had where it kind of like bobbled at the end and ended up going in, that run was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. In conjunction with, I don't know who it was, maybe Molina, who drew the two defenders away from him and allowed Alvarez to run into the box and score that goal. That was honestly one of the most beautiful plays I've ever seen.
That actually
It
might
was.
have been Messi. I don't remember.
I don't think it was. I think, regardless, whoever it was, it helped create one of the coolest goals I've seen in this tournament. Just in terms of like play, it was beautiful.
Yeah, that run was gorgeous. Obviously he had a few fortunate bounces go his way. The fact that Croatia had tried to clear it like two or three times in a span of about 5 seconds, and he still managed to poke it past Livakovic. But fair play to him. I do think that the fact that Messi is praising him does put him in the highest regard, considering Messi's striker history. Um, the fact that Argentina didn't use Aguero enough, in my opinion, and favored Higuain over him. I think that was a huge mistake in 2014 because Aguero, frankly, I think was a better striker. But um, that being said, I think Alvarez is definitely going to win Golden Boy. I don't think there's too much doubt about that. No one on France really speaks to me for that award. I don't. I mean, maybe Chouameni, if he won it, that
Yeah.
wouldn't be too surprising. But other than him, I mean, there's really no one on France that I think has a shot at that. And then I know Bellingham was mentioned in that conversation too. I just think England was knocked out too early for that to give it to him, considering the fact that both Alvarez and Tchouaméni are going to have uh, the the type of run into the final that he didn't have. Um, that being said, Bellingham is still class, but yeah, I think Argentina are gonna be very a force to be reckoned with. But we'll move on to France against Morocco now. This match I think was a bit less surprising. I think we knew how Morocco was going to play. Um, I think the biggest fault though that they made was starting Roman Saiz. I think he's obviously a leader in the team. He is their captain, but he shouldn't have started.
Yeah, probably not. But regardless of the fact, I don't think they played poorly, especially toward the end. I was actually pretty impressed with their play in the second half. They didn't give up even after the second goal, um, which I think speaks to again their tenacity, whatever got them through the entirety of the tournament. They can be proud of their accomplishments, and I think uh, they'll still put that best foot forward when they go for the third place trophy. Um, I'm going to say Morocco's going to win that, by the way, if we want to talk about that for a second. I'm going to put Morocco over Croatia for that third place trophy. Again, I don't know who's playing for it. Some people may say it doesn't really matter that much, but
I
I
think it
think
does.
I think Morocco is a team that wants their recognition and they totally deserve it. And this is a trophy that they might take seriously.
Yeah, for sure. I think Yeah, I think if they run with the lineup that they have going for them, I think that they absolutely have a chance. And yeah, they did play really well against France. They had French defenders on their heels for moments of that game, especially the goal line clearance in the second half. I think that really kind of says how well Morocco played. They just got a bit unlucky. That being said, France played to their strengths and hit on the break when they had to. Great goals taken by Theo Hernandez and his name escapes me. He was called in to replace Christopher Nkunku. I can't remember his name, but
Oh man, yeah, I know who you're talking.
he's not someone I'm super familiar with, which is why I am having trouble thinking of his name. But he
Randall Colomwani.
Kolomoani, yes, yes. Yeah, he great positioning on his part for the second goal. The ball managed to get to him, but you can't discredit that move that Mbappe pulled off right before that goal, taking on I think it was 4 or 5 players of Morocco and still managing to find uh, Kolo Muani on that far post. It just shows the absolute class that Mbappe has dribbling the ball. For sure. As for the third place matchup, I do think that Morocco will win that. I think that Croatia is going to play with the mentality of potentially resting some guys. I think Morocco has more to play for in this match.
Mhm.
I think that I think Croatia is obviously played a good tournament, but I don't think they're going to take the match as seriously as a Morocco will. I think Morocco's got more to prove in that game because if they get third place, it'll be the first African team to get third place. They've already the first to make the semifinals. I think they want to be the first to get third. Croatia obviously have already got the second place finish under their belt, so I don't think that it's going to be as big
Not
of a
very
match
good.
for them.
Not
I
very
I see Morocco with the upper edge there, and I think even though the first match they played was 0-0, I think that this match will be maybe 2-1 in favor of Morocco
Things are always different when you go from group stage to knockout stage.
for
You
sure.
got more to play for. You can't settle for the draw. Um, so yeah, Morocco for me.
Yeah, I think Morocco absolutely has it as well. I think that they're going to be the team to really go after. Yeah, I think their guys are going to be ready for it. I do want to say that this too, though, that after the France match, Morocco still seemed to be in decently high spirits. I think they know that they played well. Obviously, they didn't make the final. I think they knew they lost to the better team, though, and I think that that's exemplified by the fact that Hakimi and Mbappe were still able to switch jerseys because of their friendship at PSG. So I'm going to give fair props to Morocco. They played a great tournament, and I think that I think they will get third place.
Yeah, I think I think we can move on to the
The big
final now.
one, the big
Yep.
one. Well, we're getting the dream matchup here of going into the semifinals. Obviously, there were two teams that had never won a World Cup before, and then two that had. Argentina has obviously not won one since 1986 with Diego Maradona. They did make the final in 2014, ended up losing to your beloved Germany. And France, I predicted them to get tossed in the group stage, which was maybe the worst thing I've ever said, but
The worst take of all time.
it was bad. Like I had a point because the last three teams that have won the World Cup all got tossed in the group stage. I thought that trend was going to continue for the last five as well, since France got tossed in 02 in the
It
group stage.
seems like Germany absorbed their World Cup curse and decided to go out two times in a row. So I think
That's what it
that's
that's what it looks like.
what it looks like.
Yeah, it was yeah. But anyways, France is back. They're going for the back-to-back World Cup victories. Um, and yeah, I actually do think that the French are going to take it. I think that despite how good Argentina is, I do think that France is going to play a similar game to what Germany did in 2014, where they'll play well for possession, but I do think that they're going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with, and I do think that France has got the upper edge for this game.
I did see a report earlier that um, both Varane and Upamecano have fallen ill. I don't know how serious it is, but that's definitely something to look at. Of course, there's still 2 days until the tournament, or until the final for this tournament, so
Yeah,
it could
that's
get
going to be a
better.
big factor.
if they do not play, I still think they have a great chance, but should they not play, I think that's Argentina's edge right there, but
Here's
not
the
by a
thing.
lot.
Here's the thing,
Seriously.
though. Even if those guys missed the game, now Dio was out for the semifinal. He was on the bench. He was able to at least make that. France has a ton of depth in
Do.
the defense because here's the thing: if Varane and Dio are out, they still have Konate, who we know is in his own right a phenomenal defender, and arguably, I think in maybe a year he'll be top five. He's ever since he went to Liverpool, dude has been an absolute tank. And here's the thing: they have Jules Koundé. They can move him over and put Pavard at right back.
Yeah.
So they still have a very good team. And Argentina fans are going to remember Benjamin Pavard for scoring the goal of the tournament against them in 2018. Now,
Very true.
even if those, yeah, if, I get Varane is a huge leader and one of the world's best defenders, but even if he's out, they still have guys there. And I still think that even if it does come down to that, I do think that Argentina does have the edge. Now, if other guys in the French team get the flu, then maybe we've got some issues. But as of right now, even if those guys are out, I still give the edge to France. I think they have the depth that Argentina's missing.
Think Argentina get back Acuna this match.
They do.
Um, after the red card from the last game.
I believe it
Um,
was yellow card
it was double
accumulation.
yellow to lead to the red. Um, damn, they did have a really good squad though. I like the squad that they played. Honestly, I wouldn't really touch. I think that was a great squad. Um,
I mean, it was their
should
best
they
game of the
play?
tournament.
Should they play like they did against Croatia? Of course, a completely different team. This is gonna be such a close game. I cannot see this game being more than a one goal deficit by
Yeah,
whoever it happens to be. Um, in every single sport, I hate repeat champions no matter what. Unless it's my favorite team, I hate seeing repeat champions, but I think the possibility is so large here that it could very well happen. And I think you might be right. It might just happen. I think the odds were 51 to 49 in favor of France, and I think that describes his match perfectly. Um, there's not much to split these two, uh, separate these two from each other. You got one of the greatest players of all time in what could be his last World Cup, and it means
it
everything
is
to
his
him,
last World Cup. He confirmed it.
versus someone who will become one of the greatest of all time, especially if he wins this World Cup. Two World Cups at age 23 is ridiculous. And it's not like he was a bench player for the first one. He was such an integral part of the first one. So, man, it's tough. I want Argentina to win, but I'm going to put France over on this one just by one goal.
Yeah, I think a one goal margin is realistic too. I think that despite the fact that Argentina does have a quality team, and I would say it's a squad that is better than their team in 2018 and 2014. Um, I just think that yeah, I think the French are going to be too much for them. Now, give or take, given if France does play the way they did against Morocco, I would say the edge is definitely towards Argentina. But I think they're going to be ready for it. They were ready for 2018, and they took care of Croatia relatively easily. I think that'll be the highest scoring final ever. I don't think there's ever going to be a final of the World Cup that has 6 goals in it again. I don't. You typically finals of this nature are very closely defended and well played, and I think that this will be no exception. I think it will be a 1 goal margin. In fact, I think it's going to be only 1-0. Maybe even after extra time.
Very
Uh,
possible. I don't think it'll go to extra time.
I don't
I
think it'll
don't.
go to penalties, but I think extra time is completely possible.
What a game this is going to be. I'm very excited for this. Um, yeah, hoping for Argentina, expecting France is how I'll leave that.
Yeah, I'm hoping for France. I have a bone to pick with some of Messi's biggest fanboys. Um, I they're some of the most irritating people on Instagram. They really are, and I get Ronaldo fans are too. But uh, the people that just are brainlessly following Argentina and expecting them to put it away just because Lionel Messi's on their team are the ones that think they know everything about footy, but they actually don't. Um, I have a bone to pick with them, which is why I'm pulling for France, because if Argentina wins, they'll just keep going. I had to unfollow ESPN FC just because of the amount of Messi posts that they were posting in a day, even when he wasn't playing. Even when he was not playing, it was still just a absolute constant. And it just gets annoying to a point. It's like, okay, yes, he is arguably the greatest of all time, and I think at this point, even if he doesn't win the World Cup, he probably is. But like, I don't need to hear it every 10 seconds. Like,
You will hear it every single day for the rest of your life, especially if he wins this World Cup.
which is why I want France to win.
But
I can't do it.
can't say he doesn't deserve it if it goes that way.
Well, he obviously does, but
Without
it's
the
just
fans, take the fans out of the equation.
if you took the fans out of the equation, I would be rooting for Argentina. I would be because they haven't won it in 36 years. The last time they won it was the last time Canada was in the World Cup. Um, like I understand if it was not for those fans, I would be full on pulling for Argentina to win it. But just I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I
Now the
think it's
French
just to
fans,
see like one of the greatest footballing stories ever finally completed in a way that it should. Of course, it could have gone that way with Ronaldo. We saw how that went, unfortunately. I think if either of them would have won, again, take the fans out of the equation. I don't think that matters too much. Seeing either one of them complete their stories would have been amazing as a football fan in general, because let's face it, both Messi and Ronaldo at the same time is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to this
oh
world,
for sure.
especially in terms of sports. So, um, I have, besides this storyline, I have nothing towards France. I have nothing towards Argentina. It's just going to be a really great game of two uh, European and South American giants
Yeah, for sure.
clashing together, and it could, no matter which way it ends, this World Cup has been historic, and you either got a repeat champion or Messi solidifying his GOAT status. I think either way, this match is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I absolutely think it'll be a great matchup. Now, I would rather see the first repeat champion in France, but we will see what happens there. And then yeah, as to your point of Messi and Ronaldo, um, yeah, the fact that they both played at the same time is absolutely incredible. And I've been fortunate enough to see both of them live, which is something not everyone can say, which is an absolute honor. To be able to see these greats just duke it out for so many years. I saw Messi play with PSG in May, and I did see Ronaldo back in 2017 for Madrid. So it's an absolute honor. I've also seen Mbappe, obviously, the same game I saw Messi, but um, it's going to be a hotly contested match and one that I think will have uh, huge dividends to be paid for it. We're going to forget that I bet against France early on because now I'm betting for them. And yeah, I don't really have much else to add to that. I think that'll do it for this episode. Tune into the World Cup final. It is Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Fox. If you're haven't already, definitely make arrangements for it because it's going to be an absolute belter. The third place game is obviously tomorrow, which is Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern as well. Croatia against Morocco. That should be a great third place matchup. I can't wait to watch it. Same as the big final on Sunday. It's going to be a good one. Until next time, I am Grayson Mortimer,
Hunter Boyven.
and we will see you next time.